All right, let's welcome in our guest, Lil Yachty. Yachty, we appreciate you joining us. What's up, man?
Hello, what's up, guys?
A little background here.
Mm-hmm.
The other day, I was on my Twitter feed, and I saw a tweet on my timeline that someone had retweeted. It was from you, and it said that you had watched Interstellar basically 983 times,
Yeah,
and you think it's the best movie ever. We had a
which
little
it is.
exchange on Twitter, so I
Yeah.
think we should just start with Interstellar.
Oh, that's perfect.
Why do you what is it about the movie? Why do you think it's the best movie ever?
I think it's the best movie ever because it kind of just gives a show on where the Earth will be very soon. Sooner than people think because of the way we treat it. One, two. I think it personally it taught me like a really cool lesson on like quantum physics and like time and like shit like that I just genuinely didn't know. And I know all of it isn't like, and a lot of things like I didn't know about like, the time and space and like, the seconds like being contracted to like 1 hour, 7 years, like that just blew my mind, like that type of shit was crazy. And then just I don't know. And then I don't know. I don't have a movie that puts me that in tune with my feelings. Like that's the only movie I've seen 900 times and I cry every time. Every time I'm like, it's about to happen, y'all. It's about to happen. I'm telling you, it's about to happen. And I'm the only one crying. Like, fuck man, this shit. It gets me every time when he's sitting and he comes back from that planet and he's finally watching the videos from over the years. And then when his daughter finally pops up, she's staring at him. Like, oh fuck. It gets me every time.
Tommy, did you recently get a chance to rewatch it?
I watched it on Friday night. I've seen it. I would say 4 times, which probably puts me about 200 to 300 times fewer
Yeah.
than either of the two of you. Yeah, did you watch it in theaters when it first came out?
No, that movie came out. I was in high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, you just really dated me on that one. I also didn't see it in theaters either. And which is a big mistake. I'm going to try to get the local Sag Harbor Cinema to put it out for me in a private
Or
screening
no,
room.
we should do a screening in New York.
That'd be
Yachty, when
sick.
you're in New York, we're
That'd be
gonna host
sick.
the Interstellar screening in the
That'd
city.
be sick. I'm in New York in October for Rolling Loud.
All
That's
right,
happening.
that's
That'd
happening.
be freaking sick. And we could all scream. We could all scream at the movie. Scream at the screen.
So you mentioned a sequel, and I genuinely think about this. My tweet response to you was, I sometimes lay awake at night, and I think about Planet B,
Yeah.
or Plan B rather, and Brand's planet, Doctor Brand's planet, with all those embryos, and I'm like, this is ripe for a sequel. Like how they got from the space station to this new planet. Like fast forward, let's say 2-3 generations of people. What are we
Right.
doing on this planet? And are we destroying this planet in the same way we destroyed Earth? I really think about this. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. Because also, she had a daughter. She had kids when she was laying on her deathbed. That was her family. So it could also focus around her children, and him because he was still young. Well, not young, but he was still like fucking 30 years younger than her. So it could be like a grandpa, grandparents, kids thing, or it could just be like the kids like run the planet or like whatever how it's holding up. I would really like to see that. I genuinely would.
Have you seen Tenet?
Of course.
Of course. Of
I think I've
course.
seen all of Christopher Nolan's movies.
All right. So you think Interstellar is his best? What is his second best movie?
The Dark Knight.
Wow.
What was your Tenet take? Because it's very controversial.
So I watched Tenet, right, and I didn't hate it, but I didn't get it. So then I went on YouTube and I watched one of those videos to explain it. So it made a lot more sense to me. I definitely don't think my IQ was high enough to understand it the first time. It was a very interesting movie. I love the way it was shot. I love how every action movie he has, he starts it with like a ransom, almost like a heist. Like I feel like he does that with all, like he did it with Dark Knight. He also did it with this one, and he executes him so well. Like
Inception. He did it with Inception too.
Yeah, like it's kind of like his thing, you know. And I think it's so dope. The way he shoots him is so well. Like the way the Joker robbed that bank and leapt out in the line of school buses, like traffic. It's like it was only like a master. Like in real life, it could never happen. To where they left a gap between the school buses for your school bus to just break out of a bank and fall in line with other school buses as the car. It's like perfectly planned that would probably make a person who was in a smart think he could do the same thing.
This is the value to me of YouTube. Because like for me, you know, if you like you mentioned quantum physics, right? So after I watched Interstellar, I spent a lot of time on Wikipedia trying to get some baseline knowledge of what the fuck they were talking about in Interstellar. With Tenet, I also watched probably 10 to 15 YouTube videos because I watched Tenet twice on my own, and then I started deep diving on YouTube, and I've probably seen it 7 times now. It's a long film, and it just came out in December, so but I'll rewatch it soon. But like the YouTube videos for me have been so helpful in trying to understand the plot. Do you think that Max and Neil are the same person?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait.
The son
Yes.
was Max. Neil is the grown up.
And then his friend.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I think the take was like that was because they were going in a God. Talking about this movie always makes me feel so fucking stupid because it's like you really got to know what you're saying. But yes, I believe it was him coming back from the future. Him coming from the future to help himself as a child.
Yeah. It's wild. Here's a question I have for you. So I feel like I'm gonna admit something. I've watched Tenet a few times, a little faded. I've watched Interstellar a few times, a little faded. And it's a wildly different viewing experience than watching it sober.
Watching Interstellar off acid. So there's a scene, right? And I'm gonna send it to you. There's a scene when they were on the spaceship and they were trying to steer it, right? And it's like a close up of Matthew McConaughey's face, and he's like, it's like really aggressive, and he's like you know when he's trying to steer, and it's like I don't know what happened to like in proper termage, but basically it's like he was losing gravity almost, like when he was trying to turn the ship, and then like his face was like I don't know what he was trying to do, and it was like as soon as it hit, it's like all the air came back. I don't really know how to explain what happened, but like it was a close up of his face. I don't know if he was trying to. I think it's when he was manually driving the ship or trying to turn it or something to connect to something. I don't know, but it's a part, and it's a song that Kid Cudi there's this beat that he produced, right? But it has no words. It's just this really intense vibration, and it's together, and it is really intense.
You've watched this scene on acid before, is what you're saying.
With no words. And it's like just as emotional as just watching this shit. That is just as emotional as honestly the whole movie is pretty emotional to me. I think it's arguably like 3 or 4 parts that get me. First, when he's knocking on the door to tell her he has to leave, and she's like, in bed, and he's like trying to explain to her like, like I gotta do this, and she's crying. And then when he goes downstairs and she runs out and he drove off already, that part. And then when he's driving off by himself, he checks under the blankets to make sure she's not there. That part. The part when of course when they come back, I don't cry when they're on the planet and the dude get washed out by the water, but it's really unfortunate. I think it was so fucked up of her and Hathaway, because it was like, bro, come back to the fucking ship. But at that point is when you can really tell they all have different motives. That's what you can tell. Her motive is to get the fucking like all of the evidence. His is like, yo, I got a family. We got to get back home. Like, we need to get back to Earth, And she's like, fuck that. We need this. We need this. Like, we need this DNA, like this, evidence and shit. And that shit was, and then they come back and he's dead. That's pretty fucked up. And a black dude is like old as fucking dirt. That's a very touchy part for me.
Tommy hit it on the head for me is like the it's like the mixture of the story, and the story is always deep. There's always layers to every one of his movies. There's always a layer to it. So the story is a big part of it. The visual is a huge part of it. And for Interstellar, I think visually that's as good as any movie I've ever seen. And then the music.
Yes.
And you combine all those two. And
Have you seen The Martian?
No. Oh, yeah. I've seen The Martian.
I saw The Martian.
Yeah. It's good.
I saw The Martian before I saw Interstellar. And weirdly enough, he's in Interstellar.
Yes.
Yeah.
The surprise cameo
his name?
appearance at the end. Matt Damon. Damon.
Yeah. Do you think that has something to do? They didn't have anything to do with like that
No.
cameo with had something to do. No.
He just looks like an astronaut. Like he has a very like all American
Someone
face.
looks like an astronaut. You know who looks like an astronaut? Any generic white guy is what Tommy's saying.
This boring white guy astronaut, the square
Yeah.
face. Yeah, he just looks like an astronaut.
He does
like
like
Neil
an
Armstrong.
astronaut, but he plays two different type of astronauts. In The Martian, he's a really smart, scientist, like who's trying to, grow fucking grass and food, and then he's a fucking dick. And Interstellar. But I guess if you were stuck in a fucking ship for how many years was he stuck for? Like maybe 20, 30 years, I think almost. His crew had been lost. So I don't know. I guess if I finally saw a group of folks, I'd probably be a dick too. I'd probably fuck up their plans too. I'd be like, fuck y'all.
Yeah, it'd be hard to be cool after that.
yeah. After being stuck on a planet for years. And I think he knew already that doctor knew the answer to that problem. Like when he left and was like, I don't know. He was like, by the time you come back, I'll have this answer. But I believe Matt Damon already knew that the problem answer was already finished, because that question was answered before he left.
I think the other part about Interstellar for me is like when we think about the survival of our species. Let's say we continue to fuck the earth up, and to someone like Elon Musk who thinks we need to be interplanetary, like at some point we're gonna have to make some really fucking hard decisions. And so the old Michael Caine's character in Interstellar, the OG Dr. Brand, not telling Matthew McConaughey's character that the problem had already been solved, and really what they were going to do was Plan B, which was to inseminate a planet with these embryos or whatever. Knowing that he had a family, knowing that he basically was only doing this to save his family. So we're going to be faced, like, I don't know if it's my kids' generation, their kids' generations, their kids', but like at some point we're going to be faced with some of these decisions. And that's the part that I think freaks me out a little bit.
Yes, but I think the decision should be open to choice. He didn't have a choice. Because he didn't tell him. If he told him and gave him a choice, like, hey, look, you're doing this, but I need you to know, you probably never see your kids again. You probably never see your kids again. You probably won't see them grow up. But you want to save. You're doing this to save humanity. I think it should be up to his choice. Now whether he should do it or not. That's do you want to go down in history as captain? I did this, and captain saved the world, or save humanity. But I think you should have that choice. He didn't have the choice. He was under the assumption, I think, like 7 to 10 years he'd be back home, if that long. Like I don't think he thought it would be 60, 70 years he would be gone.
Right. Right.
That's pretty fucked up. I think that's arguably extremely fucked up. And I'll be thinking, like, when I see shit like that, I'll be thinking that's how the government is. I feel like that's how he would do them. Like, I feel like the government didn't tell you, because you got a family, you got a fucking 7-year-old and 12, 13-year-old, argue. And if you're the guy, if they know you're the only guy that allegedly he was the only guy, like the best fucking person to, steer the ship, why would you tell them? If you could lose them, especially if they didn't gave you all the information, it ain't them that got to kill you.
The one part about the movie that I think about Interstellar that gets people is the Tesseract scene. When he's in the he's gone through the black hole at the end of the movie. He's now in the Tesseract behind the bookshelves, and it was him all along.
What is that? What does that mean? Like,
I'm trying to figure it out still. So someone put the Tesseract there. Someone put essentially a 5-dimensional object for him to find so that he could save humanity. And the assumption is that it was the future humans that put it there. But that's where my brain sort of loses.
But so is it? But why? If it's there from the future, why is he telling himself not to go? Because what he's doing is
That's a good question.
yeah, he's saying do not go. And if he's trying to stop himself from going, is it because the future knew that his daughter Mars would be the one to do it already? Like, and he didn't have to go because she would figure it out. But if they had never stumbled in the NASA place, then she would have never started working for the doctor and been able to, take on those studies. And who's to say if he never left, she would have been that adamant in it and would have, been the one to start the new life. But why would if that was coming, why would he stop himself? It just doesn't make much sense to me, like.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the scene. The Tesseract scene is the scene that I'm still working through in my own brain after not 900 times watching it, but maybe 15 to 20 times that I've watched this movie.
I've watched it so many times because so many of my friends, they've seen it now, but like every time I see someone they haven't seen it, I just feel like it's so important that you have seen this movie, and it's so long. I know people either fall asleep, be on their phone, so I'm like the chaperone that's watching everyone in the room, like making sure everyone is paying attention the entire time, or they're gonna miss something. I'm like, you stop, look, you gotta watch this part, because it is important. If you don't pay attention the full way through, you will miss a lot of it, and it'll start.
You can't be on your phone.
Yeah, exactly, or it won't make sense to you. You'll be like, what the fuck is going on? Or it won't hurt. It won't hit you. It gotta hit you. Only way it's gonna really hit you in your chest when you come back to the computer screen and you're watching as a kid. You gotta be watching it.
I'm excited. I'm really excited to watch it with you guys in the theater because I think the sound. I watched it in the theater the first time I saw it, and I don't know it nearly as well as either of you do because you've seen it way more times than me. But the sound in the theater hits like crazy.
Yeah, man. I got surround system in my house, so. I'm in theater regardless,
But
but I do want to see it in the theater just for the simple fact of that feeling. Movie thing, like I wish I watched Endgame in theater. I've seen so many clips of people watching Endgame in the theater, and you feel that love and that energy, and people were so excited and so just. But superhero movies are a lot different than this type of movie, but. It's certain movies I just wish I saw in the theater. Yeah, Interstellar, I wish I saw in theater, 2001. Definitely Endgame.
Tenet for me was one that I wish I'd saw in theater. But everybody's complaint about Tenet is the music is so loud you can't understand what people are saying. So I have actually enjoyed watching it on my computer or on a television because I can just put closed captioning on and follow the dialogue along. But that would be another movie for me. While we have you, I'm assuming you're from Atlanta area. I'm assuming you're a Hawks fan.
100%. I have no choice.
Yeah. How this run has been a little shocking. I'm friends with one of the owners, and I remember him texting me before the Knicks series and being like, "Do you think we have any chance?" Like, I'm like, yeah, I do. I think you're going to beat the Knicks. I didn't think the Knicks could score. I did not expect them to get past Philly, to now have a chance. They're down 2-1 right now as of this recording, but to have a chance to make the NBA Finals, like this is a shocking Cinderella 5-seed run to me.
It is something to be nothing short but grateful for. Like this shit is like, I don't want to say once in a lifetime chance because that's so fucked up, but like it's just like really unexpected. And the city is so vibrant and so turned. It's like and he's a young cat, so it's like not only are they, and they're black, so it's not with a sprinkle of one white guy. So it's like really how the city is, so it's just like they represent Atlanta so fully, it's a good feeling, bro. It really is. And we finally can talk shit in the sports conversation and it means something and it's in people's face now. And then there's all these comparisons of Trae Young to these greats like Steph Curry and Kyrie Irving, and it's awesome. I met Trae Young a couple years ago. He's really good friends with Quavo. Me and Quavo on the same record label, so he was always at our studio at QC. So I met him a few times. So I'm excited. I'm happy for those guys, man.
Have you been to any of the games?
Not this season, but I have been to Hawks games. Yes, I was trying to get some courtside seats for the next game, but a guy like me, if it ain't courtside, then I can't be there. So, but we just, I was trying to
That's
get some
how it
courtside.
is.
Yeah, nah, I would feel less than.
Did you ever play anything when you were growing up? Any sports?
I played football 1 year in high school, freshman year, and I was obviously freshman year of the year you trying to find yourself. So and all my friends played and I was terrible. I was number 58. I was 120 pounds, number 58, so which meant I played the bench. Rode it very nicely, kept the bench warm for everybody on the team. And that's about it. I was never a sports guy. I was always into technology. I was on the yearbook committee. My father and grandfather both photographers. I was going to go to school for journalism, communications, and psychology. After watching Interstellar and Ex Machina, psychology became one of the most interesting and important things to me. So those are my two favorite movies: Ex Machina and Interstellar. Have y'all seen Ex Machina?
Yes.
Yeah, Ex Machina is
Yeah.
great.
That
The first
movie
time I
makes
saw
me-
it like made my skin crawl. It
yeah.
made my skin crawl.
Well, the first time I saw it, it made me so interested in why people do things they do. Like why do we love the way we love, and or why do we think the way we do, or how do we let our emotions override what's right? The guy was telling him to his face, like, "Yo, man, she's lying to you. Like, it's all her plan." And he's so blinded by love that he thinks he's lying, and then she does what he says. So it's like, and it is so real. Like when you love someone so deeply and so truthfully, you can be blinded by true facts or red flags and all. And so it made me so like interested in why we love the way we love, or how do our emotions do these things, or anything like that.
Do you feel like you're gonna get more into like the film world? Because it feels like you have such a natural way in at this point.
I am trying, man. I love making music. It's fun, but it's also more like a hobby. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't club, I don't party. So I'm in the house all the time. I'm in the crib. I play video games, Call of Duty and 2K, Fortnite, and watch movies. That's all I do. And I record music. I record from 6 p.m. to about 7 a.m. every night. So I'm a night owl, sleep during the day. So when I did do a movie, I did a How High 2. That was the first film I did, and it was such a fresh new world for me. Doing music, you know how to do, you know how to rock a crowd. You know what I'm saying? When you playing basketball, you know how to go out there. But when you step into another field, like I stepped on the studio and I had to learn lines, and I had a coach and a director. And first off, I don't answer. I ain't never answer to nobody. When you rap, you don't gotta answer to nobody. You're your own boss, and you do whatever the fuck you want to do. So I had a director, and I had to do what he said and how he said. So it was all new to me. It was all fresh, and I enjoyed it. It was so fun, and I wasn't confident, that was fun because I'm so and rap. That's all I do. Like you're confident, even though I might not be the best. I mean, I think I'm the best. I'm still confident. I'm still like I know how to do it, and like I know how to rock a crowd. And that I wasn't confident, and that was such a good feeling for me to just be new. I felt like a kid on the first day of school. Like when new people in a new environment, new teachers, and it was fun as fuck. So I am trying to get into the TV and film world, just because the experience. And when I did a movie, it made me, once you are in a film or on a set, it makes you never look at movies the same, just to see how you shoot things, like how things are shot and how everything goes. Like you never watch a movie the same way, and it makes you have so much more respect for actors because it is a very, very difficult task. So when you like these roles, these people pull off, like Heath Ledger as the Joker, I have so much respect.
As a creative, does your creativity come in burst? Is it there all the time? Do you ever get bored making music? Do you ever get tired of it? Does it ever become a burden, I guess?
Well, I guess during this quarantine, being in a house, it's hard to get much inspiration. I haven't traveled much. I haven't done much. So it's only so much to talk about, if you're not doing anything else, like I can talk about, as much as my imagination allows me to, travel, but you got to do things, so it does at times become like just a little, especially if you're trying to make a hit, or like something that like resonates with the masses. I make music all the time, more like journal entries, like a song to express. If something made me mad or something made me upset, I'll express it in lyrics just to get off my chest. Nobody hears it, just to get it off. It's like my form of expression. I don't talk to people, I make music, only I can hear it, and I just got that off. I wrote it, I said what I had to say. Maybe sometimes it's a letter to somebody, and it's done, But when you're doing it, like in the instance of trying to make a club banger or a song that resonates, it can become frustrating and more difficult, because it's a lot of pressure. When I first started making music 5 years ago, I didn't have any pressure. I was just a kid who graduated high school who just was having fun, and then these songs caught and they blew up, and then I became this star, and now I am a actual artist. I have to compete with the biggest artists in the game, and then it's numbers, and it becomes a lot more political, and then it is a lot more stressful and a lot more antsy, because it's antics and it's politics and shit. So sometimes, yeah.
Who do you look at as your influences, but not musically, but also just sort of like creatively in general?
Tyler, the Creator, A$AP Rocky. As far as like just extremely creative people, I love Drake. Me and Drake talk every other day. I get a lot of inspiration from him, a lot of motivation. I think Kevin Durant is just like, that's like a guy that I would always want to like have in my corner. Like just someone to look up to. He's really awesome. I think Floyd Mayweather is the coolest athlete of all time. Like the coolest, just because he's a black guy that really made it happen. People hate him, like and he's just. It's not like he doesn't deserve what he has. He worked for it. It's not like it was just dropped off at his doorstep. So why not flex? I love it. I love it. Of course, everyone at my label, my manager, my CEO, who changed my life from just being no one. Young Thug. I love Young Thug. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we have to mention. So we haven't had Quavo on the show yet. I think we will at some point. But Migos have shouted JJ out in their songs before. Ice Tray, I know, but at least one song they've shouted you out.
Quavo, I'm on Ice Tray. Quavo he's such a heavy sports person, and it's insane. He's so athletic. Like, he's so good at everything. Like, I've seen him play football. I've seen him play basketball. He's really, really talented. Like back in a lot of people say a lot of rappers want to be athletes. A lot of athletes want to be rappers. It's funny because you always see athletes like trying to rap, but then you always see athletes trying to like fucking play basketball or fucking box. They always want to trade worlds. I don't know why, but if you ask me, I would say the rappers are cooler. I think the rappers are cooler, but the athletes are obviously richer. So if you ask me, yeah. I think we're going with athletes.
I would appreciate a shout out on a song at some point in the future. No pressure. The line was "Splash on the Wrist," Jay Redick. And I think it came out. I think it came out when I was in Philly.
It came out when you were in Philly because you were confused.
And they would play it in warm-ups. They would play it in warm-ups every game. But it wasn't the first shout out I've had, Tommy. Just so you know, like Fab gave me a shout out back in the day. I was on a Wayne mixtape. Like, your boy has some street cred, all right? I'm not saying a lot of it, but I got a little bit of it. Did you know that the average American has 97 points they could add to their credit score, but no idea how to get them? The data scientists at ScoreMaster cracked the code on how. Adding 97 points to your credit score is like found money.
It means fast loan approvals, huge discounts, and low interest rates in everything from buying or refinancing a home to leasing a new car to applying for a new credit card. How fast is ScoreMaster? One member raised his credit score 33 points in just 5 days. Wow. Another 43 points in a couple of weeks.
Scoremaster is so easy, it takes about a minute to get started. And if you hurry, you get to try Scoremaster for free. I didn't stumble on my words there. I didn't make that up. That's right. Try Scoremaster free and see how many plus points you can add to your credit score. Go to scoremaster.com/JJ. That's scoremaster.com/JJ. Again, scoremaster.com/JJ. This summer, get the most out of your travels abroad by learning the language of your destination with Babbel, the #1 selling language learning app. From ordering in restaurants or asking for directions to gaining a deeper understanding of the culture, Babbel makes the whole process of learning a new language addictively fun and easy. With bite-sized lessons you can actually use in the real world, Babbel is a can't-miss travel essential. This is a no-brainer. I've checked it out, and it's so smooth and effective. It's easy to learn. It's just great.
Babbel's 15-minute lessons make it the perfect way to learn a new language on the go. Unlike the infamous language classes you took in high school, Babbel designs their courses with practical, real-world conversations in mind, things you'll get to use in everyday life.
Other language learning apps use AI for their lesson plans, but Babbel lessons were created by over 100 language experts. Their teaching method has been scientifically proven to be effective. With Babbel, you can choose from 14 different languages, including Spanish, French, Italian, and German. Plus, Babbel's speech recognition technology helps you to improve your pronunciation and accent. That's what I need help with, Tommy. I got to be honest with you. I've had a bunch of teammates. This year we had Billy Hernan Gomez from Spain. We had Nicolo Melli from Italy. And I can say some things.
You had a bunch of foreign guys.
They crush me on my accent.
What about in
man.
Dallas, dude? The whole team
I don't speak Latvian. And right now, when you purchase a 3-month Babbel subscription, you'll get an additional 3 months for free. That's 6 months for the price of 3. Just go to Babbel.com and use promo code JJ. That's BABBEL.com, code JJ for an extra 3 months free. All right, before we let you go, last question. And we have to ask this question, but who is the greatest rapper of all time in the NBA? Because there's been quite a few guys that have come out with either mixtapes or CDs.
I'm not going to say of all time because that's putting them at, saying like that they're better than everybody, but I fuck with Damian Lillard. Dame Dash, you know what I'm saying? I haven't heard much. Oh, but Miles Bridges, that's what Mello, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one in Charlotte.
I got a song with him. He's fire too. He is fire too. He's fire and Dame is fire. You know what I'm saying? I haven't heard much of LaMelo Ball's music. I think I heard a song or two, but Dame Dash, to me, I would say is the best. Between him and Miles, it's completely different styles because Dame was more of a lyrical backpack rapper, and then Miles Bridges, he can do a Detroit younger flow, but I think it's dope. I like both of them.
JJ used to rap.
Yeah.
Really?
Back in college.
Yeah, a buddy of mine. We at first we were just sampling instrumentals. This is back in was it Kazam or whatever? What was Kazaa? Kazaa. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Kazaa was the streaming. So we'd download an instrumental of Mobb Deep or whatever, and we'd rap over it. And then he started making beats. And so I actually, Tommy, I didn't tell you this, but the other day I was going through my closet. I found 4 of the CDs. I just got to find a CD player now because I don't know.
We're playing this. We're gonna play this. We're gonna play this at our screening. By the way, this is gonna be one of the things we're gonna debut this music at the screening.
We're not doing that. All right, we appreciate the time, Yachty. We should mention, by the way, you had a mixtape come out in April, Michigan Boy Boat. You can pretty much find that wherever. You just launched a unisex nail polish line. I think it's called Crete, if that's right. Yeah. Which sold out in probably 5 minutes, I heard. So you're killing it, man. We appreciate the time. We know you're a busy guy. We appreciate it, man.
Thank you guys, man. I wish the best to you guys. All success.
All right,
man.
Thank you.
We'll see you in New York.
Yes, love, guys.